Okay, good morning, good day, everyone. Welcome to this session. Today we will cover a new released project at FX Street, which is the current positions table. Don't know if you have ever visited this page. It has been online for just a few weeks, and basically, as the name says, and as in the brief introduction explained, it is a page where we can find all those positions or trade recommendations or latent interest in buying or selling a market, which are usually seen in the reports and analysis of our dedicated contributors. Here we can see them all in one organized page. Basically, simply as that. It's not to be understood as a signal service, but rather a proxy for an order book or a market profile. Basically, the way this page is organized is by currency pairs. We have organized the pairs by importance in volume traded. So euro dollar will be always at the top, and the information is shown in a table format where we can see on the left each contributor. And to the right, we see a series of data pertaining to that particular position. We see the date. This is the date corresponding not necessarily to the date the position has been opened, but the most recent date. We have any content from that particular contributor explaining or announcing that position, which is on the right side. Okay, we have the type of order, the direction buy or sell, and the type of order, if that is a limit order, which would appear as LMT, a market order, which would appear as MKT, and we also have a latent interest, which is not an order per se, but the interest of buying and selling at a specific price level. There are also stop orders, which in this current table here in the euro dollar we have no stop orders listed right now, but could be also another type of order. And then we have the entry price, which can be at exact price level, or above or below, or approximative price level to enter that position. And to the right, we have the associated stop loss levels and take profits if available. If they are known, the field will appear in blank, and if there are more than one take profit levels, so it will be mentioned. As in this case, by Chief Paul LLC, we have this buy limit order here containing 3 take profit levels. Okay. Yeah, we have a comment here from Anna, says it would be great to have the time added. Well, since this is not a tracking service to see when there is if there is or what would be the result of that particular position, we thought that it would not be necessary to specify the exact time when that position goes into the market, since we gather that information not from a trading platform, but from reports being published with us. being published with us. And for a more approximative time, you can always click on the let us see as an example here. We can click on the contributor, and this will immediately link to the report where we extracted that information. And here you have the time of the report, the time of publishing. It will depend if that particular contributor sends out his analysis or positions or trade ideas before or after he is acting in the market. Usually, as a norm, contributors do post their ideas before they enter that position, giving enough time for the public to act upon their recommendations. But in sometimes, especially if there is a market order in play, there is no such time, but this can be extracted either from the table itself. If you see there is a market order being announced, so you may be advised that the market may have already moved to such an extent that that position is not anymore an opportunity. But if limit orders or stop orders are being used, perhaps you are still in time to act on that trade idea. Okay. So we do not track the individual contributors. This is not the purpose of the table. It is rather to have in one place to see all those companies and individuals that are contributing with some trade ideas with specific price levels, that we can have them in one sole place, instead of having your favorite authors or contributors, so to say, and check each one of them if the contributor is currently positioned in which market, in which direction, at which prices, and to compound your market profile from this collection of data. We do that collection here. Partly it is done manually. We extract this data manually from the reports, and partly it will be also automatically controlled, so to say, as for the validity of the trade. That means if a certain position is not valid anymore because of the type of order used, the type of order used makes it impossible to enter that market using that type of order, then the position will be removed automatically from the table. The same happens if the stop levels or take profit levels are hit, either for a profit or for a loss. Then the position is removed from the table, and this happens, or this checking happens every 15 minutes. You will there is a robot checking for the validity of the positions and removing them from the table. Okay, and with this we try to maintain those positions that still have some kind of validity or significance, but as I said earlier, not as a trade recommendation, since we don't want to focus this data as a trade recommendation, but as a map of what kind of liquidity is being offered in the market. And I go in short into this on a price chart. Okay. If you have any questions, please participate, since this is a rather simple project to explain, but there may be some nuances, some applications that you might think about, or and that will enrich the discussion. You see, we have currently this. What we are seeing here is the positions that are recently introduced into the system. So we have a good number of positions in the major pairs. You see in the Australian there are good positions, also a good number of positions being right now published in the site and collected here in this page. We also cover several crosses, specifically euro crosses, and also gold, which is also one of the markets we cover, since there are quite a few contributors analyzing the gold market, and a few of them are contributing with specific ideas. So we thought of including it in this project. Okay, and what is this signal? There is okay. And a more advanced use we will see in a moment would be to search for confluences among the different levels that are that we see on the table. Okay, we would look at the first instance. We would look for a specific market. We want to know if the majority is positioned to the long side or to the short side. That already gives us a certain bias or sentiment for the day or for the days ahead. I must say that the positions may remain valid for several days, as long as the invalidation levels are not hit. So the position remains valid. We see here positions dating from the 7s, for example. This means that trade idea is still valid. And if we want to check the argument that lead that particular author to post that idea, we can click on the name, and we would go to the original report where that idea is explained. Some of the reports are easier to read. For instance, there are reports like this one from Danske Bank. It's exclusively about positions. We see here the same information that we see on the table in a text format. While in other let us check here if we have auto chartists here, for example, contributing also with a position. And here the information has to be extracted either from a price chart or from the text itself. Okay. I'm asked where is the volume traded? We do not extract this information from a trading platform, from the market itself. So we have no information about where that position has been entered in the market, through which gateway, so to say, by the original author. What we can expect is that because of the position being made public, and those contributors having a lot of followers, not only through our webpage, but on their own web pages and services, then we can expect that this trade idea or recommendation will have a certain impact on many people watching this particular analyst or company. So we may expect that there is some kind of feedback or response to that idea, and those positions from a myriad of followers will be entered in the market through different gateways, be it market makers, be it other networks, and so on. I don't know if that answers to the question. And Wojciech asks also if we are going to monitor the success rates of each. No, we are. This would fall into the scope of signal service, which we don't want to enter. This is not a signal service, so to say. Many of these contributors, or some of them at least, offer signal services and trading recommendations. That's part of their business, and what they do with us is making public part of that service. Some of the positions that they usually send to customers who pay for that information. A tiny part of those recommendations are published for free, either with us or through our other web pages or their own web pages. This means that if we would track their track record for this small selection of trades, this track record would not be equivalent to their effective or to the totality of their service. So there would be a randomness element introduced into the tracking, which could act in detriment of that service. Yeah, and for surely in detriment of the public, because it could be misleading if by chance that selection of trades that we are publishing from a specific contributor would have reached a good track record. This means nothing, because you have to see the totality of their positions. So with knowing these limitations, we thought, well, if we can enter into a signal tracking service, what can we do from this information? What can we do from information that is available through the site but is spread through many pages? Well, we can put them together and offer a kind of market profile or order book, a proxy for an order book, as a valuable tool. Okay, as a valuable tool, and we'll see in a minute on a price chart what this means. Are these contributors mostly the banks or brokers? Not necessarily. There are banks, there are analysts, there are advisors, there are money managers, but they are not. None of them are individuals. This means all of them have some kind of impact with their trade recommendations, and this makes the position which is being announced here of a certain importance, because it's not only Jiske Bank which is potentially buying the market at this level, but all the persons and companies that are following this signal are somehow having this information and either following exactly the same recommendation or acting with this information in mind. So any trade recommendation that comes from someone who has a lot of followers has more impact from a logical point of view, has more impact than a position from an individual. Okay, we would have to aggregate many individuals to have the same significance of for their positions. Okay. So this partly answers the question, I think. So not all of them are sell side participants, and by this I mean market makers or banks or brokers, but means also that all these positions not exclusively being introduced in tier 1 and tier 2, but also through their impact they have also in tier 3. Okay. Obviously, all the contributors appearing here are contributors that have to pass a certain criteria to be able to post on FX Street. So there is some kind of due diligence done upon these companies. It's they do have a track record, and they do have credentials that make them serious in their work. Okay. Are most traders or analysts? I have not quantified exactly. I have not quantified if they're traders or analysts or both. This is something I can't really answer you, and I think it's as I explained. I wonder if that information would be of big significance, since we know that even if a certain contributor is only publishing a position but not entering that position himself, the impact that announcement is having in the market is makes it like in terms of volume or attracted, makes it significant. I don't know if I'm explaining myself so that I shadow some light upon this question. It's very important to differentiate from what would be a signal service to what would be or the philosophy that is behind this project, which is congregating the information into one same page. I will skip here the application. Let me stop here, and I will skip the application, and we will go into a price chart. Okay. So you should see now a price chart. Okay. Okay. Here I've introduced those lines correspond to the positions we saw in the euro-dollar table. Okay. It's a bit confusing in the beginning. I will explain you what I have done here as an exercise to put that information in a visual form, which, by the way, will be part of a second phase of this project to transform that information from the table format into a more visual format. Here, what I've introduced is on a 1 hour price chart, euro-dollar. I've introduced those buy and sell positions, the red ones being for the sell, and the green ones being for the buy. Okay, and the type of line, a straight line, means that is the entry level. A dotted fine line is stop levels, and the larger dashed lines are take profit levels. Okay, so we already see some significance of the passing the information from a table format into a chart. We already see that there is some logic in the placement of those trades. We see here a few orders placed exactly at a sell orders, which were probably limit orders from early morning, were placed around these levels here, where effectively there was a reaction in the market and there was a sell-off when entering into this level. We can see some other areas of interest in for those sell orders entered here. We see take profit areas here below. Okay. We see, curiously enough, we see here a take profit level at, let me check here, around 20, 28, 50. We see a take profit for a sell order. I can't see exactly here to which one it belongs, but I know that some liquidity is being offered here in terms of a take profit, and I see also that there is at the same level practically there is one buy limit order at the same level. Yeah. This means that there is a higher probability that this confluence of a take profit and a limit buy order will act as a support in this case. Okay. Perhaps would be interesting. Let me just open up the chat again and see if there are some questions. It will be interesting at this stage to know the differences between the types of orders. Okay. Let me just check if there is, as a trader, what are your thoughts as to how I should utilize this service? Very good question. As a trader, I want to know where liquidity is being offered and where liquidity is being consumed. Okay. Liquidity is being offered through limit orders, basically. Okay. Limit orders are the mechanism the market has to auction prices. Okay. If I set a limit order on my platform, yeah, I am announcing it to the rest of market participants. Hey, at this level I would like to buy, or at this level I would like to sell. Okay, I'm announcing my interest in buying at that level. So I'm offering liquidity for those that want to act as counterparty at that level. And the counterparty who will observe that liquidity, who will profit from that liquidity, so to say, are those that will enter the market at that level with a market order. Okay, the market order will observe my liquidity that I'm offering to the market. Okay, so if I can have a map which says at a certain level there are several market participants offering liquidity, as was the case here this morning. There was liquidity being offered here at around 30, 40, 30, 50, 55. There was a confluence from three contributors at FX Street offering liquidity to sell at this level. This means that if there is a confluence here from a tiny sample, a small sample of market participants, I can expect that a lot more participants in the market, which are not contributors of FX Street but are following the market, would be possibly also trying to offer liquidity to sell at those levels. I mean, and this information, which I see from a confluence of orders, this information is valid in the sense that if there is liquidity of being offered as sell orders, sell limit orders, that price level may probably act as a resistance. And on the opposite side, if there is liquidity being offered in the form of buy limit orders, if they are confluent within a small narrow price area, will mostly act as support. Okay, and I'm not saying that these three participants here, these three orders where I have my cursor right now, represent the totality of the market. No, this is just a proxy for the entire market. But if there is a confluence among three participants in my table, I can expect that a lot more participants are positioned at that level. Yeah. This is no assurance that level will act as a resistance, but is an additional data. Okay. On the same line of thought, I want to see if, like in this example here below, if I have liquidity being offered as a buy limit order at 28.47, more or less. Okay, and at the same time I have a take profit order, few pips above. That means practically on the same level. What does it mean? Liquidity is being offered to buy at this level, and a take profit from a sell order. A take profit from a sell order is a buy order, right? I have to, if I'm in the market through a sell, in order to liquidate that position, I'm going to buy, right? And take profit orders, the same as stop orders, are a kind of hybrid of limit and market order. That means a stop or a take profit do offer liquidity, do announce liquidity at a certain level, but once the market hits that level, it will transform into a market order and observe liquidity. Okay, so probably this take profit here, this red dashed line here, this take profit would act as a buy market order once the market hits that level. Yeah, and it will observe liquidity. It will observe liquidity from who? From sellers entering, in my opinion, late at that price level. Okay. Hope that this explanation on the different types of orders is more or less clear. Okay. Limit orders offer liquidity. Market orders observe liquidity, and stop loss and take profit levels are a type of order which announces liquidity and observes liquidity once they are triggered. Okay. Why you pick 1 hour chart to compare? Well, this is I could go deeper into deeper time frames. We could switch. I'm switching right now to 30 minutes. This is any time frame that makes the information clearly visible. That means if I'm going to a 4 hour, probably it gets a little bit confusing the information. But this is a good question because leads me to think that if the information that I'm gathering from the table is too clustered on a 4 hour chart, what does it mean? That it's probably not in the interest of those market participants to play at this time horizon, right? And the market, in this case, $0 has been hesitant in the last day, so probably the play right now is on lower time frames, and we see the play has been on lower time frames to buy and sell the extremes of this bracketing market. So there is still no trade recommendation that is clearly visible on a 4-hour chart, and that goes much beyond these boundaries that we are seeing here. We have it's probably one of these buy orders here, either that one or this one, has a take profit here above at 33. Okay, this is the only position right now in the table that is probably looking at higher action, but all the others are possibly in smaller time frames. So you can have an idea who is active, or which time frame is right now exploring the market. And right now, from the information I see here, is that lower time frames are exploring the market, not higher time frames. Okay, because if you go into a daily time frame, what we see, we see that the current positions are, interestingly enough, are within an area in which price spent a lot of time in the past, a lot of time. So probably under this perspective, under the daily perspective, current price and current value are not far away from each other for this time frame in particular. Okay, for a long time horizon, we are not overshooting price far from value, but rather the other way around. Price is returning to a value area, to an area where prices spend a lot of time in the last 8 or 9 months. Okay. But from a lower time perspective, prices are exploring, are trying to get out of this range. Are exploring if prices are constantly exploring if there is demand or if there is offer beyond the current limits, the current borders, or of price range. Okay. If we can look on the Australian Canadian, wonder if we have that on the. We will go back into the table in a moment. Can you put on daily? Okay, I did. I think I answered also the question. You see on the daily the positions. How did you determine the set amount of contributors to the service and any plans to add? Thanks for the question, Mike. We have currently identified around 30 companies that from time to time, some with a higher frequency, other with a lower frequency, publish some kind of market positioning. We have identified around 30 participants from all the hundreds of contributors there are at FX Street. I must say that to be on the table, it's not necessarily we do not necessarily need a report which specifies a trading position, but it is enough to have a pending interest in buying or selling a market at a specific point, and having perhaps an invalidation point as a stop, for example. That is also interesting for us, because the pending interest, so to say, is something that as the price approaches that level, probably that pending interest will be transformed into a limit order. And if prices approach that limit very fast, then there is no time for a limit order, and it will be immediately a market order. But orders usually start as an interest, right? To buy or sell. I would like to buy or sell at a certain level, but it's still so far from there. So I would not bother in entering programming a position right now, but I can announce my interest. I would like to buy or sell if prices would hit a certain level. But if prices are still 400 pips or so from that level, so why should I specify a position? But if we detect some report expressing a certain interest in buying or selling, we will include that also in the table, because we think it's important, because as explained, that potential interest or their pending or latent interest will surely be transformed into some type of order and contribute to liquidity in the market. Okay, I think okay. For now, there are no more questions. I will switch to the table once again. There was a question if Australian, Canadian. I believe that we don't have that cross at the moment. You see, we have I think there are 19 crosses or so. We have the dollar majors. We have euro crosses for the volume they represent. We have some yen crosses with some of the major traded currencies, like we have here the pound yen, for example. But I suspect that we do not have yet the crosses from measures like Australian, Canadian. This is responds also partly to the amount of information that is published for a certain pair. See, if I have just one position, like here in the sterling yen, with one position I cannot have the complete market profile, so to say, or order book. The usefulness of this table in that particular pair is just to have one position and try to see if my bias or my current position do fit with that particular, but all this confluence searching is not allowed if I have just one or few positions. So probably you will see a lot more play with the above pairs, with euro dollar, yen. I think the cable is usually quite well populated, and with other pairs it will depend if there is action being presented. Euro dollar is always some kind of action, even if right, like we have now, which is a very short-term positioning. Traders are getting impatient. 2 days ago we had perhaps less participation at table. Now the commands trying to explore prices to get out of this range. But in other pairs, you may see only the table well populated if there has been some kind of volatility and price movement registered in that market, and then you will see more interest for a cross pair. You know? Otherwise, there is little participation. Other pairs which may be very positively correlated with other pairs, like here the Swissy. There is little to do here. Maybe it's because of the high correlation currently to euro dollar. I'm not measuring it right now, but could be that traders concentrate themselves in the euro dollar. You know, But this goes in waves. You will also notice prior to big announcements like unemployment or interest rate decisions, the number of participants in the table will be reduced, and this is also a valid information. Means that the overall liquidity in the market is being reduced, right? And if liquidity is being reduced, there is less efficiency, and prices may jump around searching for liquidity more widely, yeah, or not move at all. Yeah, could be also the case. How do I get up the chart? Well, this chart was a chart that I built manually. Yeah, I built manually, extracting the levels and inserting lines on the chart. But as I said earlier, we are looking for visual solutions to transform the information we have on the table into perhaps a price chart, so that we can easily see those confluence areas in one sole glance. Right now, the table already facilitates a lot the work, because you don't have to switch from report to report and gather information manually. It already makes it a lot more easier. But correspondences, like if there is like in the example we have seen, if there is a buy limit which is confluent with a take profit, a buy limit with a take profit from a sell order, for example, this type of confluences are much easier to see on a chart. So that's why we want to evolve with this project and make it more understandable. All right, so there is a little legend on the bottom explaining the type of orders, yeah, and what we mean by latent interest, okay, which is not an order per se, but is the information that we thought would be interesting to show in this page, because of the reason mentioned. A latent interest, like we have here in the Australian, there is a lot of interest to buy this market, but it's not yet manifested with an order, right? We see first for trading, Elliott wave forecast, the lazy trader. All these have interest in buying the market at levels probably below current market prices. Yeah. At approximate, you see the symbol here for approximate this level, or above this. Well, in this case is a limit, but okay. I have also to say that by clicking on the contributor link, you will have a lot more information in most cases about this position. That means while the entry price may be above, below, approximate, or specifically at a price level, so can be the stop loss levels, yeah, which, in order not to complicate too much the table, we do not introduce these symbols here in the stop loss level, but sometimes in the report you can have more specifications about it. If the stop loss level which is being recorded here in the table is exact at that level, or is above or below, or whatever. Okay, so I would recommend, if you find it interesting to follow a specific contributor, to always double check in the report if the numbers are correct. Also, not only because of these small nuances, but there may be some human errors in introducing the numbers, which may also happen. Hopefully not too often, but it could be. Okay, and it's sometimes, and this is an improvement that we are going to make. You will see that the stop loss levels are, for example, in a buy order. Yeah, there is a buy order, and the stop level is above the entry, and that may appear very strange. Well, how can it be the stop level above the entry? That means that it's a position that is already in the market, and the stop level is simply being trailed to a level in order to protect profits, either at break even, at the same as the entry level, or above, in case of a buy level, of a buy order. So what may be seen as an error is when we check the report, we may see that it's an order that has been already in the market for some time, and that particular analyst or companies is simply updating the stop levels or the take profits. We'll introduce a solution to these positions. Instead of a sell or buy, we will introduce long or short, so that if you see long or short, you know that position is already in the market. At least it is being reported as such, as a position that has been already opened, and that means that the entry level is not offering liquidity anymore. Okay, this is important. If an order is already open, that level is not offering liquidity anymore. But stop levels and take profits are, if they are still valid, do offer liquidity, or do observe liquidity for that matter. Okay. All right. I think we have covered most of the aspects. Minor things in gold. We have limited the price to 2 digits after the comma. Also in yen pairs, 2 digits, and in all other pairs to 4 digits. Okay, this is also a commonality. And I think that is. I don't know if there are more questions. If not, then we round up the session here. Thank you very much for the participation. Excellent questions. I think you grasped the idea of what can be done with this. It's still at a incipient stage, but I think it can grow into something meaningful at a small scale. Obviously, we are very aware that this cannot be compared with a position or order book from a market maker. But I think it's also a nice way to give some exposure to our contributors, and for our users, it's a way to help in processing that information. Okay, thank you very much, and take care. Have a nice week. Bye bye.